Love, light, peace, and abundance, y'all. It is I, Queen Essence, and I am back for another episode of Poetry Unraveled. Today is April 3rd, 2025. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. Thank you. We appreciate your energy. If you are returning, hey, welcome back. If you haven't already, I highly encourage you to go over to Post Poetry, and check out the latest edition that has been released of the online poetry magazine with phenomenal artists from all around the world. And check out the new offerings that are available. The poets have put their hearts in their art and they left it on the ink on the pages. So if you would be so kind to go and check out the magazine, you can find the link at all the online portals, social media outlets, which is Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, all under Post Poetry Magazine. As always, we are here for another transmission. I feel like today is going to be very potent. I personally have been experiencing several things taking place leading up to today's episode. So I'm very eager to see what Spirit has in store for us all today. I have already opened up the channel, clears the energy, and we are ready. So I'm just going to take a deep breath and then we'll begin. And I've already selected the poem for the ending of today's episode. So I'm excited to share it with you all and to um, share the frequency and see how it resonates. Okay. I know I say that there is so much that's taking place, and I really don't like to be redundant. I really don't like to be redundant. However, the truth must be expressed, okay? And I hope that the mic is picking me up loud and clear because the truth must be expressed. There is so much taking place, and we are in such a beautiful, beautiful time. And I know that that can be a little triggering for people sometimes that are in the part of their journey where things are uncomfortable, right? Where things are tight or intense. However, it is important for you to know that everything is happening according to the divine design. Everything is happening in alignment the way that it's supposed to happen, specifically for you, right? It is detrimental for us to compare ourselves and our journeys to other people because we are not the same, right? We don't know the path that others have walked, right? We don't know the battles that they faced. We don't know the lessons that they have mastered. We don't know the trials that they've overcome. So to compare my journey to your journey and your journey to her journey and his journey to their journey would be at a disadvantage to self, right? When you are experiencing something that is uncomfortable, it is such a powerful reality to know, to trust, to understand that this is specifically designed for you to receive what it is that you need so that you can be who you are, right? There are things that we need to experience to, if you think about, thank you, Spirit. If you think about how the artists were back in the day, I don't know what era, maybe the Roman era. However, they had a block, right? A block. And they had a chisel. However, they had a vision, right? An image, right? Or something that was placed upon their heart, right? And they would take the chisel and they would take the hammer and they would chip away, right? At the stone, at this brick, at this block, right? And they would chip away in all of these areas and facets. And sometimes it would take for what seemed like forever, right? For what was in them to be outside of them for their eyes to visually see in a physical, tangible way what they already saw and felt within themselves, right? They took a feeling and conceptualized it with a vision and then manifested it into physical form by chiseling away, right? That same principle is happening with you and I, right? We're being chiseled away. Every experience that we have is chiseling something within us, right? It is refining something, it's bringing something to the surface that requires for us to look at it and give it the attention that it needs so that we can do what's necessary with it, right? Every experience that we have that we feel like we were cheated, we were denied, we were robbed, was not that. Even if on the surface, like, for example, I remember one time somebody stole a large sum of money from me, right? And in the moment, it felt like I was being violated, I was being taken advantage of. I put my trust in someone that clearly didn't deserve my trust. And I felt foolish, right? I felt naive. I felt a lot of things in the moment, right? And on the surface, in the physical, if I were to ever tell you the details of the story, it would reiterate or refortify that physical expression of what was taking place. However, spiritually, it was so much more happening, right? And the fact that it was allowed to take place means that it was in perfect alignment with my journey for me to grow, evolve, expand, right? Awaken, to remember. And that's exactly what it was, right? It caused me to refine my discernment. It strengthened my trust in my unseen connection. It strengthened my connection to my team, to my spirit team, to source. And it put me in a position where today I can bear witness to the power of the unseen when you move out based on the trust that you're cultivating within yourself, right? When you are leaning into the divinity of what's happening, when you know for a surety that you're not by yourself, even if you don't understand the magnitude of what really is around you and supporting you and guiding you and holding you, right? So if you find yourself in a position where you're having these experiences or you've had these experiences and you're finding it challenging to be able to release them, to let them go, to be able to move forward, lean into the knowing that everything is happening exactly how it's supposed to. Now, don't get me wrong. We have free will, right? Free will is one of the things that are unique to being here on this planet. Excuse me. Because us being here in this physical 3D reality, we get to experience hmm, the contrast, the pull, that the opposition. That's the word. Thank you, Spirit. The opposition to positive motion, to forward motion, right? There is this unseen force that wants to pull you back to a rhythm or a place or a thought or an experience or an emotion that you were in that kept you at a certain vibration. So when you go to elevate, to expand, to grow, to evolve, you can almost expect that there's going to be something to present itself to see how serious you are about this evolution, about this growth. So when you're experiencing these things, lean into the trust. Know that everything is happening exactly how it's supposed to happen. And the things that appear to be setbacks are really setups for something that's greater in the future that you're unable to see. I had an experience just the other day, and I got to experience the fullness of that experience in a way that resonated so deeply that I couldn't deny it if I wanted to, right? And as a result of me having that experience, I also got to experience my own evolution in real time, right? And to ground this for you, to ground this in 3D reality, I had an experience where something that was lined up perfectly to happen the way that it should have happened didn't happen, right? And I was curious as to why did it unfold the way that it unfolded, right? Like, why didn't it all happen the way that it was supposed to? However, I trusted that things were unfolding the way that it was supposed to unfold, right? So when it actually did happen, I was able to see in real time the divine alignment that caused things to unfold in a manner where there's things at play in the unseen, right? There are things aligning, orchestrating in a way that if you're not paying attention, you'll miss, right? There are energetic alignments that have to take place. There is spiritual alignments that need to take place. There are physical alignments that need to take place, right? And when something is out of sync, then it can cause a delay. What would look like a delay in the 3D, it'll look like a delay, right? So let's say you're supposed to take a trip, right? And let's say you get up early, you plan everything accordingly, you even pack a few days before, right? You get to the airport only to find that the flight that you thought was going to leave at 11:30 was scheduled to leave at 10:30. And in your mind, you're blown away. Like, how could I mix that up? Like, how could I think that the flight was at 10:30? I mean, at 11:30 and it'd be at 10:30. And then you remembered when you paid for the flight, you remembered that it was at 10:30, right? And you had a specific reason why you chose 10:30 and this, that, and the third. However, and even leading up to it, you may have remembered that it was at 10:30. However, the day of the flight, you have it in your mind that the flight was leaving at 11:30. You get there and you miss the flight. So now you have to go through the process of getting put on a whole nother flight. You get put on a whole nother flight and you get to your destination, right? You have choices, right? You have choices. There is a version of you, because remember, I'm going to tie this in with free will. We have free will. There's a version of you that could choose to be irritated and upset, right? That you missed the flight. That version of you will make a decision moving forward. And when you get to your destination, there's that version of you will be present. That vibrational output of that version of you will be present. You could make the decision to beat yourself up, to judge yourself like, oh my God, how could I mess that up? How can I mix that up? Da, 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 I'm so silly. I'm so da da da, right? And that vibrational expression of you will show up at the event, at the destination once you arrive, once you land, right? Or you can choose to be open, right? You know, you did everything you were supposed to do, everything lined up. It was this mix up that you don't even understand how this mixed up happened. However, you know that everything happens for a reason, right? So you're going to be open to see what the unfolding is. What's really happening, right? Like what's really good, right? Like what is available for you in this experience, right? So you're open and you go with the flow. That version of you has a vibrational resonance that will show up, right? So free will says that you can choose any avenue. You're still going to get to the place. However, there's a different version of you that will be present. Whatever version of you that's there, there is a response or a reflection or an experience that will be had that will be unique to that expression that shows up from the decision that you made. What I realize is that that is what is meant by there are different timelines, right? Like there's different versions of us that exist at the same time. And those different versions are on different timelines, right? And depending on which one you choose will determine what timeline you show up on. When I realized this, I was mind blown because it took principles that I understood in a lofty, spiritual, high vibrational way. And I was able to pull them down and attach them to physical experiences to ground them to understand what these principles mean. So the value or the power is we have free will, right? Whatever we're here to do has already been destined, right? However, we have the choice on whether or not we're going to live that out. The decisions that we make every single day are the decisions that determine if we're going to live out why we came here, if we're going to live in our divine purpose. The more decisions that we make of our own free will, because source, the universe, the energetic framework, none of it forces us to do anything because this is the planet that has free will. So when we make these choices, we're choosing the timeline that we're going to be on to experience the vibrational match to what the decision that we made, right? However, there is a timeline that is the highest timeline available for us, right? And when we do the work, right? We pay attention to the omens, we pay attention to the frequencies, the energy, the inner nudges. When we pursue what resonates with us, when we open our heart chakra and we allow that energy to flow through us to see the reflection through others, through experiences, through thoughts, through our divine connection to source, when we are locked in to solidifying our unique connection to source, it puts us in alignment with the timeline of our highest unfolding, right? But that does not mean that there will not be moments of uncomfortability along the way. It does not mean that there won't be moments that stretch us, that test us, that refortify us, that solidify us in this reality. And oftentimes they're going to be uncomfortable. They're going to be uncomfortable because what is comfortable about being chiseled away at? What is comfortable about the pressure that it takes to turn coal into diamond? What's comfortable about the fire that refines fine metals? Nothing, right? Nothing is comfortable about it. So there's going to be moments of uncomfortability. So I want you to understand that because you're having moments of uncomfortability does not mean that you're doing something wrong. Let me say it again for the people in the back. Just because you're having moments of uncomfortability, it does not mean that you're doing something wrong. It doesn't automatically mean you're off track. That's not what that means. However, if you sit with it, if you sit in the energy, you sit in the space and you detach yourself, meaning you don't allow your emotions to overtake you, you don't get caught in a cycle of beating yourself up, judging yourself, right? You detach and you observe what is happening. What's happening right now, right? And you look for the understanding that is available in that moment. Because the understanding that you are energetically aligned with is the understanding that'll show itself. I remember there was this principle that I was taught that understanding is the last to come. And I literally thought that that meant that there had to be this long process, and at the process, the completion of it was the understanding. And that's not the understanding that I have today, because thank the Most High for spiritual maturity and evolution and standing in your sovereignty and receiving the principles and the higher level understanding of these principles in a manner that resonates with you. I've grown to understand that what that means is when you are vibrationally aligned with the understanding that's available, it will make itself known to you. It's a natural order of things. when you are a vibrational match for something, it will present itself. In this example, I'm speaking about understanding. However, I want you to apply it to wherever it resonates with you. If it hasn't shown up in your reality yet, you are not a 100% vibrational match for it. You're not. And if you are, there is still something in your reality that is not a vibrational match for it, right? It's not time yet. So either way, you're in a win-win situation where you would be doing yourself an injustice if you judge yourself and beat yourself up. It does you no good at all. Like literally no good to beat yourself up, to judge yourself that what you did or didn't do is the result of where you're at. And this is why you don't have, didn't do, didn't get. It does you no good, because the reality is that when it is aligned, it will show up. So if you want to do anything, evaluate, what can I shift? What can I do today that my future self that is aligned with everything that I'm looking for, I'm asking for, I'm grinding towards, I'm working towards? Excuse me. Let me elevate that. Thank you, Spirit. Because this version of you isn't grinding. The version of you that has what it is that you are manifesting, what it is that you're calling into your reality, the vision, the dream that you are wanting to live, to experience, is in flow, is in divine alignment. So we're going to take grinding out of it because that doesn't exist in our reality. What is it that I can do today that my future self will thank me for? Because that very thing is one of the tools that got me to where I'm going. Think about that. And when you realize what that one thing is, then start to think about what it feels like, right? To actually be the version of you that has successfully done that, right? And you take that vibration and that action and you go into motion. And that is the winning formula to shift your reality, right? Because you are understanding, accepting, and trusting that everything is taking place exactly how it's supposed to. Nothing is by happenstance and nothing is a punishment. Nothing is a punishment. Even if something that you're experiencing is as a result of something from past decisions, prior lifetimes, or generational I don't want to say curses and I don't want to say baggage. Generational patterns that you're here to disrupt. You're here to put the period to it. You are the answer to that particular prayer, right? All of it had a beginning and all of it has an ending. So all you have to do is decide that you are definite on the ending, right? And there's several things that's filtering in, and I'm gonna say them as they come. As long as you are aware of what it is that you can do right now, as long as you are accepting of the reality, meaning that there is no resistance. So you have awareness of actions that you can take to shift it. You are accepting of the reality. You don't have a resistance to it. So you're in alignment with flow, right? So that means that when things take place and you don't understand, you don't have resistance to it because you trust in the unfolding and you know that it's not a punishment because it started, you know that there's an ending. And because you are now aware of it, then you know that the answer, the solution, the tools, the people, the support, the assistance, whatever it is that you need to complete the cycle is going to come to you. It's going to come to you. And the wind is blowing. And the wind blew so much that it caused me to look out because there was a noise that happened. So nature is confirming what I'm sharing. There's confirmation from nature that what I'm sharing is absolutely truth. And it is giving me the resonation that this is going to resonate with exactly who it's supposed to, right? Someone needs to hear this. Everything is aligning for your highest good, your highest timeline, your highest alignment. And the more you put one foot in front of the other, and even if you fall, you get up, you dust yourself off, you learn from whatever you tripped over, or whatever caught you off guard, or however you ended up down there, right? And you continue to move forward, you're going to get to the destination. And there are unseen pieces and activities and alignment that's taking place that you cannot see, that are supporting you in being successful, right? I remember there was a saying, and I'm going to end on this note and then I'm going to transition. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not happening. And it is when it appears as though nothing at all is happening, is when everything is taking place. So whatever your spiritual anchor is, whoever you trust in, whoever you acknowledge, whoever you speak to, know that they are working on your behalf. And all you have to do is use your free will to keep making the decisions that's going to put you in alignment to be where you're supposed to be at the time that you're supposed to be there. And if something takes place, if there's a detour or delay or what appears to be a rejection, it is only a redirection to put you in alignment on all three levels to make sure that not only are you ready, but the space that you're entering is ready for you too. So I will that has been received and that it blesses your spirit. And I'm going to end the broadcast with this poem. It's called The Alchemy of Release. To all who resonate on this frequency, may these words deliver blessings of clarity, healing, and liberation. I feel you reaching through the ether, trying to tether me to a reality I've long outgrown. A timeline I released when I chose truth over illusion. You buried treasure you could not understand, and now search for an X that no longer marks the way. I offer transparency, clear and unwavering, but your blind eye turned inward, perpetuating a lie that severed your connection to the divine. Still, I honor the role you played, a sacred mirror reflecting wounds I was destined to heal. Through the shadows, I deepened my light. Through your deception, I reclaimed my truth. The weight of lifetimes lifted as I released the ties, and now my wings stretch wide, soaring to heights I ordained before your soul chose its path. What you seek in the depths of others is not hidden in their caves, not in their bodies, their words, or their embrace. The treasure you search for has always been within you, a light buried beneath layers you've yet to uncover. Only when you claim it will you recognize its reflection in another's eyes. Perhaps, in divine timing, our paths may cross again, not out of longing for what was, but in celebration of what we've become. Two sovereign beings, rooted in self-love, radiating light, whole and divine, sharing the beauty of a full moon's glow, walking by the water, hand in hand, exchanging stories of growth, and broadcasting the frequency of a love that endures. Until then, I wish you healing. May the grieving child within find the love he deserves. May the man of power, buried beneath the weight of pain, emerge to breathe freely, fully. Each step you take toward light reshapes your world. And in alchemizing duality, you will find your peace. You are the creator of your reality, a vessel of divine energy awaiting awakening. When you rise to meet the truth of who you are, you will see what I saw all along, the infinite beauty within you, the sacred spark waiting to shine. May your spirit embrace the light, and may all things within you heal in the name of divine love. Poem. Until the next time, fam. Love, light,